Welcome everybody. We interrupt our regularly scheduled playlist series of commercial games to introduce a fan-made game. Megaman Unlimited was just the first. And this time I am going to follow up with Megaman Rocks by Eric Ruth. This is actually one of the few Mega Man fan games I've completed in the past, and I just thought I'd come back to it and give it a couple swings with my challenges. So, without further ado, we will start this with a no-death run. I'm actually recording this commentary after the fact, after I have recorded everything, so some of my reactions are not going to be genuine, and I'm actually going to be talking more about the level and design aspects of the game as we go along. So just bear with me, and we'll make it through all right. With that, let's get started. And here's our robot lineup. Very interesting how... Yeah, we're just going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And do a roll of the die is pretty much what I got. And of course the roll of the die landed me squarely on Fireman. Yes, I know, he's kind of a repeat. But they kind of had to do something to do with job descriptions or occupations. And the fact that he's a fire hydrant is just hilarious. I think I laughed out loud the first time I saw that. And maybe we got some crazy going music here. And the one thing I want to point out first is that the detection for jumps and stuff like that is a little bit off in this game. And it'll clearly show in later levels where jumping actually matters. Another thing to note is look how high Mega Man is jumping. Oh my goodness. He has one of the highest jumping heights in any game, fan game or not. So that is also something you need to be aware of and take account for. Because the game designer knew how high Mega Man jumps and takes that into account with many of his obstacles. So you're going to have to take full advantage of that jump height to make it through this game. The best thing about the jump height is you can jump over certain enemies that you couldn't in official games, or most other fan games. Okay, I know this is version, I think, 1.6. In an earlier version, these platform segments were, dare I say it, horrendous. I'm not sure if this was first platform segment was the one that was the troublemaker, but I'm pretty sure it was the second, and I think we'll talk about that when we get there. But for right now, this is just a little prelude to what's going on later. I'm not taking any chances, I'm getting rid of these guys first. But anyway, pretty much the whole basis of this challenge is a no-death run. Like, I need to get from the beginning of the stage all the way to the end and beat the boss without dying once. I can use whatever skills, weapons, whatever I have in my possession to get my way through the levels and of course beat the boss, but I cannot die once. And I had to do a couple practice runs on quite a few of these levels, sometimes more than one practice run, and those are coming up later. The ones where I had much trouble. And if I get any sort of outtakes on these levels as I'm trying to do a perfect, well, not a perfect run, but a no-death run, then yes, I will absolutely display them here after the video ends. Well, the video proper. I like the fact that he put Dalmatians as an enemy. Okay, here's what I'm talking about. In the original version, there was actually a top portion to these pillars, so you had to time your jumps in between a small section of pillar to get across, and he removed the ceiling portions of each safety pillar in between the moving platforms, which I think helped the difficulty immensely. So kudos for him for listening to feedback and getting rid of those awful ceilings. And we're near the end of the stage. It's not really a hard stage, and it's actually a pretty good stage to start the game off on. I mean, not only is the stage relatively easy, but the boss is one of the easier ones to beat without any special weapons, so if you need to find a place to start, you can't go wrong with Fireman. Which is kind of the opposite is true in the original Mega Man, where Fireman is one of the worst ones to go to first. And that's it, we're here. Let's see what this fire hydrant has for us, huh? So pretty much all he's got to do is he pretty much rams himself at you completely. And that's the majority of his attacks. Every now and then he'll do his little water balloon fire hose attack. And you kind of have to slide under him after he finishes, otherwise you're going to get trapped like me. But on the whole, he's really not that bad of a boss. If you use your Mega Buster like I am, you can make short work of him like crazy. And there he goes. We now have just got our first Robot Master completed. And the next one coming up is not someone I'm going to relish. But we got this cool little weapon get screen. Reminds me a little bit of Mega Man 2, which I think was the general gist. Cool colors there, Mega Man. And this password is interesting in that if you know what the password is for beating each of the bosses, you can easily figure it out, and the password never changes. It's one red dot per boss. So if you know where all 8 red dots go, well, then in that case you can easily figure out where they're gonna go. But we're gonna move on to Repairman next. Not really looking forward to him, but it must be done. So until then, see you later.